right. Would like to call the meeting to order and ask if anyone has a motion to vote on the prior minutes. Thank you.
I second.
Thank you. All right, all those in favor of minutes?
Aye.
Any opposed? None opposed. So, all right, so for the handful that are here, just doing introductions, and do we have folks online?
Yes.
Oh, great. All right. Glad that people were able to join online. Just for introduction to the executive board, I'm Mike Stefanski, one of the co-vice chairs this year. My son Hank is in 3rd grade and Ivy is in 1st grade. So,
Hi, I'm Michelle Slavin. I'm one of the co-chairs. My son is in 4th grade at Clark and my daughter Marie's in 2nd grade. Thanks for joining us.
Hello, Kelly Conbury. I have a 5th grader, Reagan, and a 3rd grader, Stella, and I'm co-chair with Michelle. I'm Stephanie. I'm dispersing treasurer, and my daughter is in 2nd grade, and next year.
I'm Sarah Hall. I have one who is the alum and then 2 years.
with that,
Well, you just okay.
Taking notes is Jessica Stillman Lloyd. I'm the secretary, and I have 3 children, one in 7th, one in 4th, and one in 2nd. Here, I'm late. I'll just move the camera. Can you see Al?
Yes.
Stephanie, welcome. Okay, good.
All right. First of all, it's good to see everybody. While not quite the library, it's nice to be in person. This is the first in-person PTO meeting inside the building. It's also hard to believe that while not the date exactly 2 years ago tomorrow, the Friday, I know, Friday the 13th. Correct. And it was 2 years ago, not the date, but this Thursday night was the last time everybody was together, which was NPE's Got Talent. That was we actually had a rather large event the night before we went out. Yes. So anyway, it is great to see everyone. And as I know, the spring months attendance is more difficult with, well, especially with weather right now, but also sports in the future. So, we'll certainly get the word out and try to get as many people the next couple of PTO meetings. May have to put it out a couple extra times because the springs can get very filled with events. And we've seen that in past years. I'd like to start with the congratulations to Jane Urban. Jane Urban was the recipient of the PMEA District 12 Citation of Excellence Award. I sent in a letter, not of nomination, but of recommendation, alongside Henry Perlberg at the middle school. And she was the winner. And she just found out earlier this week. Obviously, there's not a more deserving person. Little known fact, she really started the entire instrumental program at the elementary level. Here, it started with a handful of children, like 8 to 10 students. And obviously now you see what the program has become. So Jane Urban doesn't like to kind of, put herself out there in terms of, I've done this, but she has been a rock for the entire music program over the years, the last 25, 30 years. And she's just a fantastic asset to our building. So big congratulations to Jane Urban. Earlier she found out, again, PMEA, the Pennsylvania, she was the district recipient award winner for excellence. So congratulations. Big thank you to PTO and all of the readers and all the volunteers for Read Across American Night. It was just great to have everybody together and to see the students come in and pick up books. And while it was only a kind of a smaller scale than what we've had in the past, the students still had a wonderful experience. And I can't say enough thanks. I don't think I've actually said it enough this year to this group, but my heartfelt thank you to the readers, Dr. Marseille for jumping in, getting a read aloud, all of the current staff members, Jackie DeWitt for reading a story, former parents, and just all the volunteers that were here that night. It was a great event. The only thing is it went so quick. It was blink of an eye quick, but it brings me back to all those special night events we've had in the past. So I'm looking forward to the future ones, but big thank you to some of the people in here, but the whole community. It was a wonderful, wonderful event. The Education Affairs Committee, you may have seen, I don't necessarily have a building update, but I want to make sure I at least mention, if you've read Dr. Marseille's update, there is a fairly significant reorganization of district administration. Again, I don't have a building update on those matters, but you will notice that the Director of Elementary Curriculum is a position that's in there. So that is something that we'll be, working with the administration close in the next few months. We're in a time where the district will enter strategic planning, a comprehensive plan, and the various audits, the equity audit, the curriculum audit, and the communications audit, which is about to come up next, is going to give the administrative team, the staff, and the community information to build a 3-5-year plan, which we shared with the community. So my point in bringing this up is just say, please make sure when the superintendent sends out the updates, please take a look at that. And if there's any questions that would go to the building level, feel free to reach out. The equity audit has concluded, and we just had meetings today just about overall findings, a very high level view. And really the message that I wanted to bring here tonight, that was presented at the Education Affairs Committee last week, is that we're looking to build an ecosystem of cultural competency, diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging. And we've taken steps both at the building level and the district level to move forward. There's a lot of work to be done in these areas still, but this information will guide the strategic plan. So as I said, please make sure you follow the superintendent's updates as he pushes through that. Yeah. Yeah. If you probably did receive a separate one. I'm not part of those conversations in terms of like, honestly, I just didn't think of that. I should have.
Yeah, I did it for the curriculum audit and they were, yeah. I just ended up like bullet pointing and putting things in there.
It sounds like it was one that was
It was
each
just one.
family. Okay.
Yeah. No, that was for the equity.
That's the
Yeah.
symbol. Yeah. And I believe there's a communications one coming soon. I know, right? I know that's coming. I just don't know what that looks like in terms of surveys. But any other questions on any of those topics? Again, I expect more to be coming directly from the superintendent, but I just felt with all of his, and there'll be more information coming forward. But I can say that the equity audit, we are looking at every facet from classroom to discipline to, are all our families represented in curriculum, our hallways, everything we do. And certainly there's been a lot of conversation in the past few years, and it's much needed. So I know that we're looking forward to this work, and some of it has already started, but there will be a lot of updates in these areas in the future. Conferences, I believe conferences, they will be virtual. They'll be offered virtually, but we will be able to work with families, or if something comes up, we can have in-person meetings. I've had quite a few, at least in the last few months. So we are starting to move back to that. But those are kind of essential, maybe IEP or a conference with me and a teacher, something like that. But the overall conference structure, there was a lot of feedback about some of the convenience for families. So we are going to offer it virtually this time around. I'm not saying it's probably the way forward in the future, but we had the administration principals made the decision to go virtual for the April conferences. if something needs to be worked out separately, that can also happen. So, but the signups, I expect to go out the last week in March. Conferences are Thursday, April 7th, Friday, April 8th. The evening conferences are April 7th, the Thursday night, and kindergarten conferences are during the school day, the prior 2 days to that, the Wednesday and Tuesday, I believe. So there'll be more about that coming out, but the signups will be coming out at the end of the month for April. Yes.
Are we gonna have teachers zooming in from the building, or are we gonna zoom in?
Yeah, that part wasn't discussed. I'd say the majority of our staff, I can't say is the bottom line. I don't think the district has said you must be in the building. But the majority, I think I had 75% were in the building last night.
Okay.
If not more. Actually, I actually think I was closer to 80.
Okay, so the food.
It's still a go.
That's
Yes.
still a go?
Yeah. The numbers we had, we were I think the highest. And we may say it has to be in the building. I just don't think it's been decided yet. But
Okay.
yeah, it might be over 80%. If we have 22 classroom teachers, I think I had 20 in the building.
Okay.
Yeah, so it'll definitely
Yeah,
happen.
we're just more concerned with
Yep.
that.
Yeah. And the final, I just want to double check any parents of grades 3, 4, 5. I did send out the first communication about the PSSA, just looking for nods. Okay, so that got out and that went through. That will be something I'll be sending out a couple of times before the beginning of PSSA. They will begin the week of April 25th. And I believe the exact schedule is in that document that I sent out, or in the body of the email. And apart from that, that is my report for tonight. If there's any questions or anything I didn't touch upon.
Thank you, Mr.
All right,
Hernandez.
well, thank you. Oh, and thank you PTO for the kindergarten orientation, for coming and doing the presentation. I was saying before this meeting, there was a lot of returning families, but that was one of the best kindergarten orientations we've had. And it was just one of those, it was just a really good atmosphere in the room. So, but thank you.
Which way we go? Here, just stand where you're
Okay,
comfortable.
Mr. Hernandez, Mr. America.
Co-chairs were Kelly Smith and Stephanie King. We got some data on that. They had 13 committee members. One was a one has students in high school, and one only has students in middle school. They were returning, so really like Read Across America. We also had one faculty member involved in the committee, Mrs. Clark, so that was a really good committee. They had 18 readers that were virtual that you can click on. And they had 375 people in attendance to pick up the books. So that was a really good virtual. Kelly Smith just asked if we can get some feedback if the parents liked it the old way, where it's 100% in person that we had back in 2019, or did people like the come in, pick up a book, and get your hot chocolate and do it at home? So that's one thing. We do a form feedback. We were thinking like that, or we'll do a poll or on Facebook, but that's one thing that the committee's just trying to see what parents like on that. So that was a really good thing. Is Stephanie woke up on?
She is.
Yeah, I'm here.
Can you guys hear her?
I can talk really loudly. Yeah, do you want me to give an update for STEAM night first?
Do you want to talk about STEAM night, or either or?
All right, well, why don't we start with STEAM
Can I
night?
lose you?
Can you hear me?
We can
Yes.
hear you.
Okay. So as of now, we have approximately 20 stations for STEAM night. We have, I believe it's 15 or 16 through volunteers that will be running their own stations. And Christy and I volunteered, crazy people we are, to set up pre-designed stations to entice other volunteers who might not be comfortable running a station. So we have 5 of those that we are going to put together ourselves, and we have 5 volunteers for those. So that totals about 20. We have the last count, I think 11 or 12 Haven Helps volunteers from the high school, mostly from the National Honor Society, but I think they've opened it up to some others now. And our greeters are filled. Thank you, PTO members. Our setup and cleanup volunteers stations are also filled. So we're done in terms of, I think, stations and volunteers. We're feeling pretty comfortable. The gifts are all purchased. So thank you, Stephanie, for the reimbursement. And right now we need to focus on the layout of where the tables are going to be, keeping them spaced throughout the building. We know who needs electricity, who needs water, who needs like a drop cloth because they're going to make a mess. We still need to coordinate arts for the art portion of STEAM for like the craft and art activity table. We have the 3 volunteers for that, Shayna, Meredith, and Carrie, but we haven't decided what we want to do. We understand that the origami planes were a little more difficult for like the younger age. So I'm going to reach out to them. I think that's pretty much it. I think, Jess, you mentioned that we had leftover like drinks and maybe snacks from the turkey trot. But I think now that we're moving inside, we need to limit food. So I don't think that that's going to be a part of STEAM night now that we've moved inside.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just want them out of my garage.
We'll use them.
Fine.
Well, what I will say is you can hold off on them.
Okay.
So because we can use them for the 5th grade Creekside party. So before we get to any of that,
Well, they won't summer in my garage then.
so before we get to like 5th grade activities and all of that fun stuff and field trips, are there questions on STEAM night or anything that anybody thinks we're missing? Okay, Christy's in the process of compiling the questions from the volunteers for the different stations. So we do plan on having that again. We'll have the questions on one sheet. We might attach a second sheet where we have like science and math, STEAM resources, which we've done in the past. So again, they're going to still have the question sheet that they answer as they go through. They'll turn that in. If the questions are all right, they get entered into a raffle, and then we'll select 2 students from each grade to receive a prize. So that will run the same as it always has.
Can I make a suggestion on the questions?
Yeah.
Just make sure that they're really easy, because I in past years, there's been frustration.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think, in my opinion, like if the students are submitting them, I'm not looking for like 100% accuracy, right? Like if they're willing to take the time.
No, but like the
do them.
kids get frustrated because there's,
Okay.
some children, not mine, but some children are perfectionists and they get upset if they can't get it exactly right.
Okay. That sounds good.
Not my children.
Yeah. We are trying to figure out, like, we're very excited to have the Haven Helps volunteers. What we're trying to decide right now is whether we want them to assist in the stations that we're developing, because obviously that station is going to be new to the volunteer, like the adult volunteer as well, or if we want to maybe station them throughout and maybe like helping navigate the scene. So we're still trying to decide how we want to utilize the Haven Helps volunteers.
And so Stephanie, the only thing I was going to say, this is the other Stephanie.
Yeah.
That if anybody does purchase anything, if you could just forward them that form, or just tell them to the PTO form, because I get a lot of questions of like, where do I put the reimbursements in? So we're gonna start going more to the chairs and saying, if you are running this committee, can you make sure that you let the people know who are purchasing things to put in a reimbursement?
Yeah, I guess the only thing I would say with that, Stephanie, is just that maybe not sending the payment out until you verify with us, like that it's approved.
I didn't.
Oh, I'm sorry. I said the only thing I would say is just like we're working within our budget as well. So maybe don't approve it until you hear from us as well that like it's an acceptable expenditure.
Okay, yeah, and I also, after like looking at some of the budget
it's one of the things I wanted to talk to the executive committee about, because it's a lot lower than Read Across America, and I feel like there's a lot more that goes into it. So, you know, we might have to actually increase that budget for you guys anyway, because, I mean, what is it, like $600 or something like that?
I think it's 700, but honestly, now that we're not doing like snacks, or just volunteers them anyway, but now that we're like not doing food, other than buying the materials for the art station, that $174 that you credited me is to develop one of the 5 that we're developing and for all of the prizes. So we're actually, I think, going to fall well below that $700. I really do.
So then the parents that are doing their own stations are providing their own things at their own cost?
Yes, and in the past, they've done that as well. A lot of the volunteers are professionals who are working in the science realm or in the engineering world, and most of us are bringing in our own materials. I mean, and some of them are not. I mean, like Paul Jacobs works at Swarthmore College. He just like borrows equipment. Marta Guron's the same. So a lot of people are just bringing in their own supplies. It's the stations that need to be developed that, and they're not difficult. Like one is like lemon water with Q-tips, and then you iron over it and it oxidizes. So like the cost of these stations for a simple chemistry project is very cheap. And I think a lot of times people are just like, it's $10, I'll do it on my own.
Okay, and that's fine. I just didn't want somebody to feel that they were putting money out of their own pocket and then not able to be reimbursed if they felt that they wanted to.
Yeah. So Christy and I can send out an email to the sign up, to the volunteers, and just remind them that if they have expenses, that they can check with us, and that we will reimburse them for those expenses. I just don't want somebody like blowing the budget at $150, $200 a pop for a station.
And that's fine. And I mean, we have it in our budget this year that we
Right.
can afford that, you know, to reimburse some parents.
Yeah. Okay. Sounds good. Yeah, that sounds great. So I don't know if you want me to just lead into like 5th grade.
Go for it.
Did you have on the agenda, yeah, field trips or graduation?
Yes.
Which do you want?
Start with field trips.
Okay. So the field trip committee originally had intended to have 3 field trips. The idea in replacing the Williamsburg trip for this year, and I say that hoping that everybody returns to Williamsburg next year, the 3 field trips were going to be the Environmental Center, a local ropes course run at a Girl Scout center, and then Washington, D.C. So the idea was one was environmental, one was social, emotional, fun, and then one was historic. So with the timing of this spring with PSSAs and spring break and everything, we actually narrowed it down to 2 field trips. And so the 5th graders will be taking a day-long Williamsburg trip. Al can speak to this too, but the buses are chartered. We plan on doing a purchased lunch for them to bring along. We're looking at box lunches right now.
Wait,
they're
you mean
running.
DC? Stephanie, you said Williamsburg trip. You meant DC,
Sorry.
right?
Because I'm still like waiting for that to come back next year. DC, thank you, sorry.
Yes.
Yeah, so DC, the trip they're gonna do is actually with the National Park Service Rangers. So it's actually at no cost to us other than getting down there with the buses and providing food in the form of box lunches. So the National Park Service Rangers are actually, I think, able to, and I'm not sure, Mr. Heinley would know better, hoping to provide some programming to the students before they go down, so that they have knowledge of the different monuments and everything that they're seeing to engage them a little more. The other one that we're going to do is a ropes course that Wes and SRS have done. It's run at a local Girl Scout camp. It's a low ropes course, but it's really made to be like a team building experience, which we thought was very valuable for them to moving into 6th grade. We're going to use district buses for this, and this really came down to the lack of funds for this 5th grade class, whether we chose the Environmental Center where we needed to charter buses, or the ropes course that was local and we could just use district buses. So those are the two for 5th grade field trips. And I think we're booked with both of those, and we're evaluating buses, or we're evaluating food for Washington right now. Mr. Henley, do you want to add anything to that?
No, there's still a couple odds and ends on the second trip, but I don't see it, nothing that I think is gonna be a massive issue, but I'll call you tomorrow just about
Yeah.
how we want to reach out to families in terms of some of the costs. May 19th, I believe, is DC, Thursday. The ropes, I can get that to you. I want to say it's June 1st or 2nd. I think it's
Yeah.
June 2nd. I think that's right.
I think it's 1st with the rain date of the 2nd or something like that. It just came through.
Yeah, I'm now the point of contact.
Yeah, I saw that.
So, but I believe it's June 1st. I think Stephanie's right.
Both of these are just day trips, correct?
Correct.
I guess the only thing, that I would say,
Start, obviously.
I'm not going.
Quick question on the DC and then also Rick, are they having asked parent chaperones, or is it just the?
At the moment, we haven't.
Okay.
But I think there's a chance that could change.
So Avi signing up for the DC one?
I just said out loud.
Yeah.
You will, don't worry. You will.
So the answer right now is no, but I think there's potential to revisit DC.
So the other thing that I would just mention is, while the committee, is excited for these field trips for this 5th grade class, I think it would be in the PTO and administrators' best interest to start discussing next year whether there will be a return to Williamsburg, or whether the field trips are going to continue with the trips that we're planning this year, or some other variation of that. And I say that just in terms of fundraising and dates, because what we butted up against with having multiple field trips is you really want to do one of these in the fall and not wait to do 2 or 3 field trips all in the spring when you're trying to work around PSSAs and spring break and everything else that is going on with graduation. So I think it's something, obviously I'm graduating to the middle school with all my kids next year. But it's definitely something that the rising 5th graders and their parents want to start thinking about sooner rather than later, and obviously working with Mr. Heinley and the 5th grade team.
Is there a 4th grade rep on the 5th grade committee?
Mike, I'm sorry, was that directed at me? I couldn't hear you.
Mike asked if there was a 4th grade rep on the 5th grade committee like we were hoping for.
No. That's a good question. And no, it never happened this year. Yeah.
The information they gathered, if you, the cost for Gettysburg, the cost for DC, that's shared to the 4th grade. Yeah.
We do have a Google Doc. We were updating it pretty well until as we were trying to make decisions. And then once we kind of rolled with, yes, we want to do these specific field trips, I'm not sure it's been updated. So, but whatever we have, and the final cost, obviously, Mr. Heinley is going to have, but the details of that, as well as the Google Doc, we'll certainly share with PTO.
And then Stephanie, the other thing we have is the Creekside pool party,
Yep.
correct?
Okay, so 5th grade graduation party celebration. The pool party is scheduled. I'm not sure I put it in my calendar, so maybe Al has his. I believe it is June. Is it the 9th or the 10th?
June 10th?
I have June 10th.
Yeah, the 10th, with a rain date of, I think, the 13th and 14th. The deposit's been made on the pool. And in the past, the decorations as well as the snacks have all been through volunteers and a sign-up genius. So the plan is to run the drinks and snacks and that sort through the sign-up genius with volunteers. And then the other expenses that we would have with that, and I need to convene the committee, we knew we were getting the pool, so I need to convene the committee, is DJ, and if we're doing a pizza lunch for them. So those are the two things that need to be ironed out. And obviously, as the date gets nearer, and I'm done teaching for the semester, we'll get that one a little more organized.
Stephanie, I did today transfer money. It'll show up on the budget tomorrow. I transferred money from the Williamsburg account into our PTO account so that the budget will be updated with what is allotted for 5th grade total. So that should be along with the payment to Creekside and any of the payments so far. So this way you can also keep a beat on that on the budget as well.
Okay, that sounds great. In terms of graduation, this is another thing. I mean, it's like kind of far off. So we have been, Kelly and I have just been kind of chatting and moving forward with that. But I believe Grace Lloyd is working on the t-shirts for the graduation ceremony at this point. And yearbooks, I guess, are those ordered for the 5th graders?
I said work, PTO is gonna pay for 105 students at Fleet's graduating from.
That sounds like.
Yeah.
105, so it's $16 a piece for, I told her, you know, just order them and coordinate the steps, so that should be good.
Okay.
Steph, I'm not sure if I've given you the date, but the graduation is Thursday, June 16th.
Right.
And I'll push that to the 5th grade parents. The
June 16th? Yeah.
Yes, I'm sorry, June 16th, right. Last day of school presently is Friday, June 17th. So the day before. The outstanding question on graduation will be, what does the format / schedule look like? Last year, we did individual classes, like one in-person class plus one away class. I think we would like to do as much as possible, one graduation with all kids there.
What time is that? Is that during the day?
Well, that's, so if we had to separate it out, the first class is 9:15, the second is 10:15, then 11:15. It worked well last year. We have no intention of trying to do that again, but with 105 students, staff, would you say two parents per child, this room, we're gonna run up against some spacing. And I don't know if there'll be spacing requirements, but we're gonna have to make that determination soon.
Can it be outside?
That's what I was gonna ask.
Yeah.
I think at this point, we would seriously try to do something like that. You just run into a potential rain date situation.
During the day.
Yes. The rain date is really, that's the tough part. So, but if we have both plans and we communicate both plans to parents in advance, I think that'll help at least a little bit and say, we're gonna try for this. If it doesn't work, then we'll get to a staggered schedule. So we're gonna try to get everybody in.
Can I just take a moment to applaud Stephanie for all the amazing work that she's been doing this spring? Like, I really, you've taken on so much, and I feel like you're making up, you like having 3 children come through the school, and now you're like, I'm crushing all of my PTO goals into 3 months. So
I'm just gonna go out with a bang.
no, but I really don't know how the fifth grade owes you a huge debt of gratitude. You've worked so incredibly hard.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Hang in there.
So I feel bad saying this, but if you're done with me though, I'm gonna go pick up my kids.
Oh yeah. Thank you for joining us and taking the time.
All right. Thanks. And I'll talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay.
Okay, so our next topic is Spring Fest. So Caitlin and I are chairing the event. This is new this year. My understanding it's the first ever Spring Fest in NPE. We want to do it because we weren't able to do the Fall Fest for circumstances beyond our control. So we're trying to do something fun. It is going to be a free event for NPE families. We will charge for food. We're going to try to do a couple raffles. So there, hopefully we'll be able to make a little bit of money on it. But we're hoping to bring back, the bounce houses, some games, entertainment, hopefully. The issue that we're facing now is, right now, it's pretty much Caitlin and I who are planning it. I know Jess did send out a sign up Genius, asking for some additional support. We have some lead positions that we want to try to fill to pull this event off and make it, really great. But we do need some help from you guys. So if you could check that out, and if you're able to sign up and donate some time, we'd really appreciate that.
Do you want to take a second to talk about the?
Yeah, Caitlin has all that.
Right, so like Michelle said, we do need some help planning the event. She and I cannot do it alone. We need someone to coordinate, take the lead on food. We already have reached out to the hot dog cart guy, have a lead on, hot dogs through Jen Barkle. We need someone to reach out to like Kona Ice Truck, Philly Pretzels. It's not overwhelming amount of work, but it is work that just needs to be done. Little steps. We need someone who's going to take the lead on raffles. We're not asking classes to do raffle baskets this year. We're going to go with the raffle items that we already have. One of which is another Providence Township camp tuition. One of which is a one-person full-school membership to Creekside. We've got some Level Garden tickets. We have a Wawa basket.
Lunch with the police officer.
Always fun.
Class pizza party. Kid friendly.
We do need someone to take the lead on arts and crafts. We reached out to the Community Arts Center to see if they can sponsor like a tie-dye activity. We are renting a spin art machine from Bet's Bounces. We want to do like paint your own flower pot, space painting, is included in that. So we have the work sort of divided up into these roles. We've started reaching out to people on this, and we need help to get it across the finish line and make it a good event for the entire community. So if anyone is interested in helping out, you reach out to Michelle, she's on the executive board, you reach out to myself, or
Just email us.
or go to the Facebook page.
And what day did you say it was?
Oh, sorry, yes, it's May 14th, Saturday. The rain date's going to be Sunday, 15th. And the times, we believe it's probably going to be 12 to 3. We're still, it might be 1 to 4.
But you don't have to be available on that day to do this volunteering, right?
Correct.
Yes, volunteer ahead of time, and sort of set up the event ahead of time, or you can volunteer there.
Yes, and we will send that out when it gets a little closer, but right now we just really need to focus on these behind the scene tasks in order to get this off the ground.
And how much time do you think it would take for somebody to commit to these roles? Like 2-3 hours?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it's mostly just following up with emails and, phone calls and things like that. Yeah, that's really what it is.
Well, that sounds very doable.
Any questions?
I think this is gonna be really good for the students. It's like we've done a couple things for the teachers already. We haven't really done anything for them.
It's overdue. I mean,
Besides the movie night is fabulous.
Yeah.
Cruiser for kids to climb into, the fire department is setting up their water.
Oh, yes, that's true.
That is
Creekside is gonna sponsor an age group, an egg hunt divided by age groups. So, at 12:30, we'll have like the little guys go out. At 1:30, we'll have like the middle age bracket of NPE go out, and then we'll have another group of kids go out towards the end.
Middle school animals.
Well,
I am recording. I have one.
And do you see Providence Animal Shelter?
Yes.
Oh, that's been
So
mentioned.
puppies might be there.
It's possible.
Volunteer.
There's a lot of options, and if anyone has any ideas they want to throw our way, we're open to any and all suggestions. So please reach out. This is our event. We can make it what we want. So
We really need a celebration, and I feel like it would be a fantastic, I'd be incredibly disappointed if we had to cancel it because we couldn't get any help, as I'm making direct eye contact with people.
Stephanie, Jess, can you do me a favor? Maybe just send out a particular e-blast just for this.
I will.
I think, and honestly, they didn't have that many people for STEAM night, and then you sent something on Facebook, you did something magical, and then boom. So just do the same thing this one.
I tried on the last e-blast and I didn't, I got really depressing and pathetic on the last e-blast. Yeah,
JSL magic.
I'll work on it.
Thank you.
Guilt.
All right, so Garden Club, we are having a kickoff meeting on March 15th, which will be Zoom, and the link was in our e-blast. I did see it in the e-blast. And we did purchase a shed for the Garden Club. Do you just need to coordinate with is it up? Is it?
I'm embarrassed that I can't say I've seen it, but I believe it's up.
Okay, all right. But do we have it?
Oh, we have it.
Okay, that's good. That's all I care about.
No, I'm the person who was putting up came here and they walked outside. It has not gotten to when it's put up yet. I think it might be there.
Where is it supposed to be?
It's up in the garden area. If you're facing Moore Road, to the right, tucked back. I think it's an area where you can tuck back into.
All right, so we can go take a look on the side.
Yes, I think it's on, yeah.
So
I think it's on that.
yeah, on that.
Yeah, yes.
We'll have to go take a little walk tomorrow.
I feel bad. I just have to look
That's
at
right. So, but that was one of our bigger purchases for the Garden Club because it's become such a great community aspect for our school, and it's unique to our school. We have we have teachers and parents who are willing to really help out with it. Sarah Hopkins heads the Garden Club or the Garden Committee for our PTO, and she and I have started some seedlings this year. And so what we're hoping to do is to have a donation offering for plants, and we are hoping to set it up actually at the Spring Fest, having a table of plants from tomatoes and peppers to flowers and things like that, and we'll ask for a donation that you can just put in and take what you'd like.
That is a fantastic idea, ladies.
So that we can try to raise the money for some other
I
aspects of
won't have to start seeds.
You can start, yeah, you don't have to start. You can just come take them from us. So that we're hoping will be at Spring Festival, and we're hoping, whatever we have left over, we can do maybe the week after, or have or on Sunday, have Garden Club only donation spot.
So who's doing, just you and Sarah the seeds?
I think right now, if anybody else has seeds that they want to donate.
I don't garden, but.
If anyone else has seeds.
But if maybe we post something, if other people are interested in putting seeds together, whatever, they can do it with her. Put some seeds in some soil and see what grows. But
Okay, I've never seen Kelly this red before, but
she's as red as a tomato.
I'm showing, but we can probably make some good donations for that, because I think there's some good ideas for the garden club. I think the shed is awesome. We might need to get things to be put in the shed based on the donations.
Yeah, we need to get, I know in the fall last year, we did a Amazon wish list, so we can always do one of those again and update that. And if anybody has like rakes and shovels and things like that from this, from that they're willing to get rid of, we'll take those donations too, because the kids are in the garden actually planting things, and we will be having a garden cleanup in the spring to clear out all of our fall stuff to get ready for spring planting. So, but the kids go out and they do it, and they're eating things and trying things, and it's just a really great addition to our school and unique to our school.
I have an idea. Do you think that the teachers would be interested in starting seeds in their classroom for this project? We could get them material, we could get them,
We'll pay for it.
yeah,
I'd have to ask, but it's 22,
I know.
yeah.
I'm sure one person, one
Yeah.
teacher
I'm sure
would.
Mr. Jones.
That's-
I'm not sure, Mr. Jason, I'm not sure if this has gotten out to you. Mr. Jason got the grant, similar to what Mr. Mark Rosenberg used to do. We'll be sending home a seedling, I believe, that the student, around birthday.
Excellent.
Yeah, very similar to what Mark Rosenberg did in the past. So we'll be doing all of that here. So I can ask my teacher leadership to see what we can do.
But if
It
any-
might be in the lead up to KSSA before break at conferences. It might be a bit of a lift, but that's not.
So if anybody is interested in coming to our garden club committee meeting and wants to attend, it is March 15th at 7 p.m. Zoom. If you have any ideas or you want to just help in some way. I used to have like black thumbs, and somehow over the last couple of years, I've actually grown vegetables and flowers. So if I can do it, anybody can do it. Trust me.
All right, what's next?
Spring conferences, we're gonna talk, Julie had a couple great ideas on that one. She's gonna reach out to Maribel, Marielle, and we're gonna be doing the spring conferences tied to different foods, but the same sign up genius. So they always love it, so we're gonna work on that. That's it for committee reports. Community announcements there.
The high school's doing their first collection. It's in the parking lot in the middle school, but it's.
Speak up. Sarah, speak up. We got people.
Sorry, Saturday the 19th is the first collection at the high school. The 23rd there is a WSSD Family Mental Health Engagement Series. It's navigating changes in families or in the family. It looks like it's geared towards kindergarten through fifth. Is that correct?
Yes, I thought it was 3 to 5, but it could be
Oh, is it
3 to 5.
3 to 5? I was gonna say,
That's
it
just
looks
all
like
coming.
3 to 5, but I wasn't sure if that was.
Yeah, I had it, I believe I put it the last week last, just as it's
I
escaping
don't know.
now.
I'm
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying, it's expected or something. Parent teacher practices is 17th, spring break 11th through 15th, and then everyone's waiting the township sign-ups for me. Our next meeting, 20th. Yeah, is
April 20th is our next meeting?
Yes.
Okay, all right, so that's late.
after spring break.
And on that meeting, that we need to do nominations. No, we need to nominate who will run the executive board next year.
K through 5. Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, the Family Mental Health Engagement Series is K to 5. So,
Most of them have been, this is the first one that's been K to 5.
Yeah.
But it is. K.
so if anybody's interested in serving on the committee next year, now is the time to think about it. And we'll, if we'll find a place for you if you want to.
So right now is co-chairs, vice co-chairs.
Yes. Vice co-chairs are definitely open, but if anybody's really interested in serving on the committee, like, we will make a place for you. We'll find a way. I didn't mean to sound violent. I was just trying to stress that it's like, this is something that we all work together to do. This is not like some sort of like elite club that it has seemed like in the past. This is something that everybody's welcome to do, to participate in. And what?
You got the next thing.
I don't have the,
Adjournment.
oh, do I hear a motion to adjourn? Michelle seconds. PTO meeting adjourned. Thank you, everybody online, for joining us.